Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. It is Saturday, December 11, 2021. It is 11 a.m. Central, 12 noon Eastern, as we continue to watch this line of showers and thunderstorms move across the state of Alabama. And the big bullet points here, the line of thunderstorms has certainly weakened since it caused so much destruction up in Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee during the overnight hours. However, this line of thunderstorms is still very strong as it moves across the state of Alabama. We did have a tornado watch that was in effect for the northern and northwestern sections of the state of Alabama earlier this morning. The National Severe Storms Forecast Center has allowed that tornado watch to expire. So far, they have not replaced it, but we just got a message from the Storm Prediction Center, and they're telling us that there is about a 40 to 50% chance that they will issue a new watch this afternoon. And that watch most likely would be a tornado watch, and it would certainly cover East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, they have not pulled the trigger on that. They're continuing to monitor, and the thing that they're watching right now are these individual thunderstorm cells that are popping up out ahead of the main line of convection. All right, so this is your main line of thunderstorms, which stretches now from just north of Thomasville, just south of Demopolis, all the way up to just west of Sylacauga, and then to near Anniston, and then all the way back up into northwest Georgia to near Rome and on up into Gilmer County. That's your main line. Now, if you're behind that line of storms, your threat of severe weather has ended. But what the Weather Service is paying close attention to are these individual cells that you see that are forming out ahead of the line. If you'll just bear with me a second, we'll get the telestrator out and we'll see if this modern technology is going to work. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you see these individual cells here. Like there's one over here in just south, extreme northeastern Coosa County. Not severe by no means at the moment, but these are the kind of cells that the Weather Service paying attention to now. We did have one go severe down in South Alabama, south of Montgomery. We had a tornado warning down there just a few moments ago. That has since expired. They have not reissued it just yet, and I'll show you that storm in just a few moments. But what I want to do here is get down here and show you what I'm talking about. These little small cells that are popping up across East Alabama and West Georgia. Again, these cells are not severe at the moment, but we're paying very close attention to them because they're running out there in a very unstable area, and these storms could go severe at pretty much any minute. All right, so let's go down here south of Montgomery. Let's see, we got the Montgomery radar. Let's go back to we got Montgomery radar running, so that's what I wanted to see. All right, so these individual cells down here south of Montgomery, we're talking about from just west of Union Springs back down to just north of Luverne, and then down here around Georgiana. And this is way out of our coverage area. I understand that. But I just kind of want to show you what's going on down here because this leading storm went tornadic about 30 minutes ago. And they did issue a tornado warning for Crenshaw County, and it crossed over 331 there just north of Luverne, between Luverne and Highland Homes, south of Montgomery. Haven't heard of any damage down there. But just so you know that these storms that are running out ahead of the main line, beginning to show some signs of rotation, and so the Weather Service is watching those very closely. Welcome those of you who are listening to us on God's Country and East Alabama's classic rock giant, The Classic. We are watching this line, the main line of showers and thunderstorms, move into our coverage area of East Alabama and West Georgia. The National Weather Service is issuing a special weather statement now. This is going to be for Calhoun and Cleburne counties of northeast Alabama. And this special weather statement is in effect until 11:33 this morning. Let me just pull the text of that up and we'll read it to you. Strong thunderstorms will impact portions of northeastern Talladega, southeastern Calhoun, and Cleburne counties through 11:45 a.m. this morning. At 11:03, Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm along a line extending from near Pleasant Gap to Munford. Movement was east at around 35 miles per hour. The source is radar indicated, and gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecure objects. A point was made earlier this morning. If you have a bunch of Christmas decorations outside, make sure that they are secure, because even if you do not receive thunderstorm wind behind this line of showers and thunderstorms, the wind is going to be howling this afternoon out of the northwest, 15, 20, 25, maybe even gusting up to 30 miles per hour at times. So that's going to wreak havoc on anything you have outdoors that is not secure. Make sure that everything is in place and tied down well. And if you can't secure it well, just, especially those Christmas decorations that you put out in your front yard that are operated by a fan that you blow up, you might want to turn those things off, at least deflate them, if not bring them inside, because if you don't, if you leave them up, they're going to end up in your next door neighbor's yard and they could cause damage. Your decorations could be damaged, and they could also cause damage to other people's properties. So be sure you take care of that before this line moves through. So again, we have no severe weather watches or warnings in effect for East Alabama or West Georgia at this hour. The tornado watch that was in effect earlier today has since canceled. The Weather Service has not reissued it. However, they are telling us there is about a 40% chance that they will reissue this tornado watch, or maybe even a severe thunderstorm watch in the next hour or so. So we're watching that very closely. As we look up to the north, you see that special weather statement for northern Talladega, Cleburne, and Calhoun, as this line is now moving through the Anniston-Oxford area. So I-20 is a mess up there. If you're traveling 431, if you're going to Anniston maybe to do some Christmas shopping, or if you're going to go over to Birmingham, I advise that you find somewhere to pull off the road and go inside and wait for this line to pass before you try to travel up there on I-20. That is going to be a nasty ride for the next hour or so. Going to switch over to the Atlanta radar and look at northwest Georgia. Very heavy storm just came through the Rome area, now moving in on Rockmart. And then Dalton, you've still got heavy rain, but the thunderstorm, the main line has already passed you. So if you're in Dalton, Rome, and to the west, the severe threat has ended for you. Now, if you're east of there, up here in Gilmer County, let me put some time zone here. We're talking LJ, should be moving into the LJ area now. Talking Rock at around 11:02, so that's right now as well. Dahlonega by 11:31. That's me up here on the hill. Around 11:30, this is 11:30 Central, so that would be 12:30 Eastern time. We expect this thunderstorm to move through the Dahlonega area of northeast Georgia. I know that earlier this morning there were a couple of folks in the chat room that said they were traveling from East Alabama up to northeast Georgia, specifically up to Helen. So if you're still on the roadway this afternoon, this morning, be careful. We've got that line of thunderstorms getting even closer to northeast Georgia. A few showers up here in Lumpkin County, up into towns, but those are not severe. The heavy rain is still back off to our west and moving to the east. So I just kind of wanted to jump in here and bring you up to date as this line of thunderstorms continues to move into East Alabama. It would appear the further north you go, the heavier this line of storms is at this hour. So right now, you're going to see some heavy rain. You're going to see some gusty winds. I think the winds behind this line of thunderstorms is going to be more significant than what comes in with the thunderstorms. And at least for the moment, we are not seeing a tremendous amount of lightning output, with the exception of that section of the storm up there in Cleburne and Calhoun counties. They're just north of Anniston. We see quite a few lightning flashes. But the section of the storm that's coming through Talladega, the part that will come through Clay and eventually Randolph, Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers, and even into our West Georgia counties, right now there's just no lightning output to this line of storms. Could that change over the next 30 to 45 minutes? Well, certainly it could. But for now, it just looks like a strong line of thunderstorms. It won't last very long. And then you'll have some rain on the backside of it. The winds will turn out of the northwest. It's going to get windy. And temperature will start dropping this afternoon. Let's go back down here and look at this South Alabama storm again. This is the storm just southwest of Union Springs. Has a history of producing a tornado warning about an hour or so ago. And this is headed right straight for Union Springs. Right now, it is below severe limits. We have a significant weather advisory in effect for this storm and should be in the Union Springs area at about 11:41 this morning. So you got about 30 minutes or so before that storm gets there. You folks down in central Alabama, you're looking good down there in Montgomery. Let's switch back to the Birmingham radar. Birmingham, there we go. And you can see that line will make it into the Prattville-Montgomery area in another hour or so, but nothing severe along that line for the moment. But we're really watching this stuff down here south of Montgomery. There's another cell crossing 331 just north of Brantley. That is suspicious looking. And then over here just to the east of Georgiana, another cell that is very suspicious looking. So if you're traveling down I-65, maybe headed toward Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, anywhere south of Montgomery this morning, this afternoon, you'll want to pay very close attention to what's taking place with the weather down there. If you're anywhere in East Alabama or South Alabama or anywhere in the state of Georgia, you're going to want to stay weather aware today. Make sure you have a good source of weather information. One great idea would be to download the Dr. Don weather app, and you can do that by going to drdonwx.com. There are a couple of buttons there on the top right-hand side of our page where you can download the weather app, and while you are there, please consider supporting Dr. Don's weather. There's the link right there that you can click on. That'll take you right straight to our donation page where you can support us. We depend on your support and our partners to keep us going here at Dr. Don's Weather. So for those of you listening on radio, that's kind of a quick update for you this morning. As the rain begins to move into Talladega County, it is pouring in Talladega down toward Childersburg, Sylacauga, and even on into extreme northwest Coosa County. But nothing severe at the moment. Winds are going to be a little bit gusty, and then the winds are going to be pretty sustained and gusty. After the line moves through, we'll start to cool off. Going to rain for another couple of hours. Just a good day to stay indoors and stay off the roadways. And we'll watch this. If we begin to get more indications of severe weather, then of course we'll come right back and cover it for you. So I'm going to pause just for a second to allow our radio stations along the network to break away and go back to their regular programming. And then I'll come back and take a look at the chat room and answer any questions that you may have. If you're listening to us on God's Country and East Alabama's classic rock giant, all you have to do is go to Facebook and search for Dr. Don, Dr. Don's Weather. You can do it also on YouTube and Twitter, and then you can continue following us here as we continue our coverage. So we'll stand by just for a second. Thank you for listening to us on the radio. If we get more severe weather in the area, or if we get severe weather in the area, we'll come right back with more updates here on Dr. Don's Weather. All right, for those of you that are still with us on social media, I am going to take a look at the chat. We kind of be a little bit formal when we've got other media outlets joining us. And we have radio stations on here. We have to remember that they're listening on the radio. They're not necessarily watching us on social media. So I have to jump back into my old radio days and try to paint that picture. But then when they break away, then we go back to just regular coverage here. And we can be a little more informal. Daughter Sam is watching us. Love you, Samantha. Let's see if we have any questions here. Deborah is talking about it's raining very heavily in Anniston. We were just talking about that. That line is moving through there now. Should not be stormy in Dalton now, but now you did have that line did move through about 30 minutes ago, and may not have been that much to it, but it's kicking up pretty good now, back over toward Blue Ridge. That's going across North Georgia. And let's see what we've got here. Lake Martin is watching us this afternoon. Dowie, Heflin, Roanoke, Newell, Ranburne, Lafayette. Question, what about Asheville, Alabama? Well, Asheville is in East Alabama. And this line of storms is going to affect all of East Alabama. It's in East Alabama now, stretching down across Talladega County. And let me put it in motion. She's asking about Asheville. I don't know if she's talking about Ashland or Asheville. That's two totally different places. But we'll talk about Ashland. So the line is about to cross into Clay County. So you see very heavy rainfall there across Talladega, Childersburg, down to Sylacauga, and that stair step that we talk about right there along the Talladega Clay County line. This line of storms about to move through that area into Clay County. So this whole line will continue moving off to the east. If you're behind that line from Childersburg to Talladega to Anniston, you are in the clear. The threat for severe weather has pretty much ended for your area. Anniston, maybe another 10 minutes or so, and you'll be in the clear. But Talladega, Childersburg, all the way down to Montevallo, Centerville, Brent, from that line west, the threat of severe weather has ended for today. And the sun is out. I'm still getting reports of the sun being out in different locations across the area. That's not a good thing. We don't want sunshine. But hopefully this line will get on through here pretty quick before we have a chance to warm up too bad. Christy's asking, what can we expect in Roanoke? Well, right now, if this line stays like it is for the moment, you'll be looking at a strong line of thunderstorms as it moves through the next hour or so. Gusty winds, maybe a little thunder and lightning, even though this line is just not putting out much thunder and lightning. It's pretty amazing. For the rainfall rates to be as heavy as they are, we don't have that much thunder and lightning. Now, it is up there around Anniston and Oxford, but the southern end of that line that'll be moving through Randolph and Clay, there's just not much going on there with the thunder and lightning. I think the biggest threat right now, the biggest thing we're going to have to watch for over the next couple of hours is going to be for little small spin-up tornadoes along this line, though we haven't seen that happening. If this line were to strengthen any at all, we could start to see that. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing to watch. But yeah, Roanoke, you're going to get lots of rain. It's not going to last very long, but you're going to get heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and maybe a little thunder and lightning, and some pea-sized hail can't be ruled out as well. But for the moment, we think we're going to stay below severe limits as this storm system moves through East Alabama and West Georgia. Graham's watching. Warner Robbins is back in there. Is that thunderstorms behind the front? No. That's heavy rain back here behind the front. Let me zoom back out. So this leading edge, that's your main cold front. That's where all the energy, or the energy that's left with this storm, that's where it's focused, along this leading edge. And then back behind it, that's just scattered showers, some embedded heavier showers, but those are not thunderstorms, and those areas are not of concern. If there's going to be severe weather, it's going to be out here along this leading edge. So if you're behind this leading edge, the threat for severe weather has subsided. Brianna says that the sun is out in Heflin, but the sky is getting black. Yeah, that's because you've got that big line of thunderstorms knocking on your door. The leading edge of it is right there at the 431 I-20 interchange. You folks there in Cleburne County, Randolph, Chambers that travel up to Anniston, right there where you get on I-20 off of 431, that's where the leading edge of the storms is positioned at the moment. Walk through Bethlehem at 5 o'clock in Roanoke. Question, is that going to be okay? Yeah, I think the severe threat will certainly be gone by then, and the rain may be gone. If not, it'll be the tail end of it. So the severe threat will be gone by 5 o'clock. There could still be some showers around, though. Partly cloudy skies in Roanoke, the sun coming in and out, 72 and sunny in Warner Robins. LaGrange, you're in the same boat as East Alabama. Line of showers and thunderstorms headed in your general direction. Should be in there within the next couple of hours. Nothing severe at the moment, but that could change. We're watching this thing live as it moves east to see if there's any uptick in intensity. Right now, we're below severe limits. Same thing for Dadeville. Chambers County, same information. 6 p.m. in Franklin and LaGrange and Graham. Again, that's right around that 6 to 5 p.m. time frame this afternoon. The line of storms will certainly be long gone from East Alabama and West Georgia by that time. It could still be raining, but we should be on the tail end of it by that time. This whole thing should be winding down by 5 or 6 p.m., and the severe threat should be long gone by that time. Well, the line's pretty much clearing Oxford as we speak, so whatever is going to happen up there, it's happening up there right now. Let me just kind of zoom in on that area. Question was, what would I expect as the line moves through the Oxford area? So Oxford is right here, and the line is moving to the east, so Oxford's almost out of it. So whatever has happened has already happened in Oxford. And it's a significant weather advisory, so it's not severe. So I would not expect to have had anything of any great significance in the Oxford area when this line of storms started moving through about 10 minutes ago. Raining in Corinth, it is. That's a small cell that's running out ahead of the main line of thunderstorms, which is an area that we're kind of keeping an eye on, because if we were to get a quick spin-up tornado, that's where it would likely be. But for now, those storms are well below severe limits, and I see no signs of them intensifying at the moment. Windy in Alexander City, windy in Penton. Broughton Ridge is watching us. Tammy Gribbs is up in Blue Ridge, Fannin County, and yeah, you got a pretty good little thunderstorm moving through that area, headed toward northeast Georgia. I'm going to go back to the Atlanta Peachtree City radar and look at that because, I'm sitting up here too, so we want to pay attention to this so I'll know what I've got coming at me. Let's see here. So I'm right over here, just southwest of Cleveland, southeast of Dahlonega. And the line of thunderstorms is back off to my west, so it's moving in my general direction. Maybe a little hail core right there. It's about to move into Jasper. It's moving through LJ now. The backside of it's about to clear LJ. So you folks on up there in North Georgia, Blairsville, the storm is bearing down on you. It's just moved through Mineral Bluff. It's just moved through Blue Ridge. And so this seems to be the strongest part of that storm moving through North Georgia. Let's put some times up here. We're looking at Blairsville by 11:42. These are Eastern times, so it'd be 12:42. I'm sorry, these are Central times, so it'd be 12:42 Eastern. Arrival in Blairsville, Young Harris up there at the college at 11:53 Central, 12:53 Eastern. And Hiawassee at about 1:01 this afternoon if this line of thunderstorms holds together. Helen probably in about an hour. This line will be moving through the Helen area. Let's go back to the Montgomery radar, because it gives us a better look at this stuff down here in South Alabama that has been showing some indications of rotating. And we still have special weather statements out down here. One storm near Union Springs, the other one just to the southeast of Greenville, and then one just north of Luverne. All those are moving to the northeast up toward maybe the Columbus area or just south. They will probably move into Georgia between Columbus and Eufaula this afternoon. Cecilia, cool. She said, well, it's not cool, but it's cool that you're reporting it, that the Eagle's Nest at Berry College is really rocking. That's up there in northwest Georgia. A lot of you watched that live cam up there. And thank all of you for the kind words that you give us here on Dr. Don's weather page. If you'd like to support us, there's the link. All you have to do is click on it. It's quick, it's fast, it's secure. And whatever you can do, we greatly appreciate it. That's how we survive. A lot of time goes into doing this, and these products that you're seeing here are the same stuff you'll see off the major market televisions. And you got to believe me when I tell you it's not cheap. And that and the internet and everything, the computer equipment, the hardware, the software, everything that goes into doing this, it's not cheap. So anything you can do to help us out, we greatly appreciate it. And if you own a business and would like to become a partner with Dr. Don's Weather, all you have to do is send me a message and we'll tell you how you go about doing that. We have our Weather Center sponsorship that'll be available on January 1. As most of you know, Shepherd's Fine Jewelry and Gifts in downtown Roanoke have been with us for almost from the very beginning a couple of years ago. And they're going to close the business at the end of December. So we invite you to go by and shop with Miss Judy. Everything in the store is 30 to 50% off. You can get some great deals. And we're going to be looking for someone to take over that slot. It is not, I mean, she's had it for 2 years, so it doesn't come available very often. So if you own a business and would like to get great exposure, then all you have to do is send me a message, and I'll send you all the information. It doesn't take but just a few minutes to get you signed up, and we can have you started by the time we do our next weather forecast. And let me go over here and, well, I don't know where that's coming from. Hang on a second. Well, as you can tell, we have weird stuff going on. You know, that's the way it happens. I mean, it's always perfect until we go live, and then all kind of weird things start happening. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was the severe weather threat. And you see most of the state of Alabama covered under that slight risk. Now, you could whittle off the backside of this because you folks up in northwest Alabama, west central Alabama, you're in the clear now. And then this line of showers and thunderstorms will continue marching across east Alabama. Our threat will be gone by about 4 o'clock this afternoon, if not sooner. Actually, I think it will be sooner than that. I don't think we stay under the gun that long. All right, so let's go back to that. I was going to try to show you I don't understand where that audio is coming from. Hang on a second. I got it. I still don't know. I don't know what I did to turn it off, but I got it. Anyway, what I was trying to show you was the Shepherd's Weather Center. You see up there at the top, the Shepherd's Weather Center with the name of their business and their phone number. That stays on the screen all the time on our primetime weather forecast that we run every single day. And then we leave it up a good bit during our severe live weather coverage as well, along with Southern Union State Community College. So you get great exposure. And that's going to be available for you starting the first of the year. So just get in touch with me, and we'll show you how you can go about getting signed up for that. So just looking to see if there are any other questions before we step aside. And I'm probably going to leave the radar up. And I'm just going to step aside and take a break until we get this line through here. But I think I will leave the feed up for you so you can at least watch the radar. Then I'll be back from time to time to kind of update you on what's taking place. Jason's saying it looks like there's going to be a lot of power outages. Unless we get some... unless we get a little uptick in this activity, I'm not so sure we're going to see a lot of power outages here in East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, after the line moves through, we're going to be caught in a gradient between low pressure and high pressure, and our winds are just going to be screaming out of the northwest at 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. Even on the higher peaks, we could see 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gust. Now, that certainly could bring down some limbs and small trees, which could cause some power outages. But if you've been watching news coverage all morning, you've been seeing the catastrophic event that took place last night in Mayfield, Kentucky. Places like that just devastated. And we can relate because Mayfield, the population is 10,000. And that is much like some of our larger communities in East Alabama, population-wise. So, it doesn't take much to imagine that entire town has been wiped off the face of this earth up there at Mayfield, Kentucky. We're not looking at anything like that across East Alabama and West Georgia this afternoon. These storms are just, they're not even severe at the moment. Last night we had a catastrophic tornado emergency unfolding across Tennessee, Kentucky, and Arkansas, and we are not seeing anything like that across East Alabama and West Georgia. But I do want you to pay attention to what's going on, because anywhere along this line of thunderstorms, or even these storms that are running out ahead of the line, there could be a spin-up tornado or two at just about any time. So until this line passes your area, you need to be weather aware. Now, all of Talladega County is in the clear now, as this line of storms moving into Clay County. Up there in Anniston, you're pretty much in the clear. Calhoun County is pretty much in the clear. Cleburne County, not so much, especially for central and southeastern Cleburne. You still got this line to go. All of Randolph needs to pay attention. All of Clay needs to pay attention. Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Harris, Troop, Hurd, Carroll, Harrelson, Coweta over in Georgia. You all need to pay attention to what's going on over the next couple of hours or so. And I've been telling you all morning I did not anticipate this being a red letter severe weather day, and I still don't. But I don't want everybody to let the guard down because we're not out of the woods, and we won't be out of the woods until this line of storms moves through within the next couple of hours or so. Let's see. Question about the black circle around Anniston. Well, I don't see it. There may have been a meso marker up there, which may have dissipated, and that's probably what it was. And what that is it's broad circulation in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Now, a thunderstorm would not be a thunderstorm by the classic sense unless it was rotating. So all thunderstorms rotate. And so sometimes when that rotation gets a little stronger, you'll see these little circular icons pop up on the screen. That doesn't necessarily mean anything other than it's a thunderstorm doing what thunderstorms do. But it has since dissipated, so it's not even showing anymore. And down here in Randolph and Clay, we're going a little bit tighter. We got some heavy rain there from just north of Wedowee, back across Lake Wedowee, south of 48, and then back into the Cragford area, back over to Shiloh there on 49, and back over toward Bluff Springs. Then we have another cell down here around Pinckneyville, and that goes all the way back down to around Hackneyville, along Highway 9 and Highway 22. Alexander City, you look good right now. Hanover, the rain's about to move into your area. Highway 280 there, just to the east of Stewartville, it's raining. Heavy rain in Hollins, up there on Highway 148. We see some showers all the way back to Sylacauga. And then that heavy rain continues on up into western Clay County. Raining pretty heavy out there on 130 from Ashland all the way back to 77. Bowden Grove. Then you get up there around 281 going up to the mountain. You got some heavy rain just to the west of Union, just to the west of 49. Raining pretty good up there at Cheahaw State Park. Probably pretty windy up there on the hill, too. And then that stretches all the way up 281, all the way up into Cleburne County. Heavy raining now at Shulafini, all the way up to I-20. Things are looking better in the Oxford, Anniston area. Still some pretty heavy rain up here around Heflin. But if you're up there at the mall, or the shopping areas around the Anniston-Oxford area, things are looking better. You got some more rain coming, but the severe threat is pretty much ended up there. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to leave the radar on that shot, going to put it in motion, and we are going to take a break. I'm going to leave the radar up, and then I'll come back from time to time and update you as this line of storms continues to march through East Alabama and West Georgia. Stay with us on Dr. Don's Weather. Again, good afternoon, East Alabama and West Georgia. We continue to watch the possibility of severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia. And what I'm looking at here is the Weather Service is telling us that there is increased rotation in this storm just north of Troy, Alabama. This is up here just north of the Troy Airport. They have not issued a tornado warning on this storm, but they are noting that there is an increase in rotation from the radar at this particular location. So I just wanted to look at that for just a few moments and see if they issue anything on that. That's in northern Pike County, just north of the town of Troy, where Troy University is, right there along 231, and that's where this storm is in the process of passing over 231 at this time. And we'll take you back to the reflectivity. Right now, the radar is telling us 40-mile-per-hour winds as this storm moves off to the northeast. We'll look at it from a couple of different angles. So if you're east of 231, this storm should be in your area in about a minute or so. Over here on 223, probably you got about until about 12:14, so about 25 minutes it should be crossing over 223. This is down in South Alabama, south of Montgomery, down here just north of Troy. We do have a lot of folks who follow us down here in South Alabama. WSFA Channel 12 in Montgomery, this is their primary coverage area, and they will be providing full coverage on this. But since there's no severe weather in East Alabama at the moment, we thought we'd take a look at this. Also, another storm just to the northwest of Luverne, moving off to the northeast. It'll be crossing over 331 there, just south of Highland Home, in the next 30 minutes. Now, this will be the third thunderstorm cell that's crossed just about the exact same location in the last couple of hours. So they're really getting hammered down there, just north of Luverne. And then look what's happening back over here in southwest Alabama. We're talking pop-up storms everywhere, all of which are below severe limits at the current time. As we go back up here and look at East Alabama, that line of showers and thunderstorms beginning to move in. Again, this has been a decaying line of storms all morning. And it continues to show signs of weakening as it moves into East Alabama, which is what we thought would happen. But given the destruction that we saw from this same line of storms last night across Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky, we wanted to be on the safe side and cover this thing for you just in case something were to change. But for the moment, you just got some heavy rain, some gusty winds. We'll start up here in Cleburne County, then we'll come down and talk about Randolph and all of our other counties. Up here on I-20, Haralson County down to the Carroll County line, tremendous amount of rain from about Bremen all the way back to the Heflin exit. Just very heavy rainfall now on I-20. You get down into southern Cleburne County, just to the northwest of Ranburne. It hadn't quite got to you yet, Ranburne, but just northwest of you up there on 46. Very heavy rainfall. That continues back off to the southwest, back toward Chulafini. And then down Highway 9 into Clay County. Heavy rain down there in Barfield, Delta, Lineville. Randolph County from about Bucktown up there on 48 or 100 in the state of Georgia, all the way down 48, back down to Woodland, back over to just north of Wedowee, and then out Highway 48 back over Lake Wedowee. A narrow band of very heavy rainfall moving off to the east. All that's below severe limits. Roanoke, Wadley, you look good for the time being. Over here in Clay County, from Lineville back to Ashland, Shiloh, and then down 49, back toward Millerville on Highway 9. Heavy rainfall. Also the same down here in northern Coosa County, Goodwater. You got a heavy rainfall, and then from just north of Alexander City up 280 all the way back to Sylacauga, really heavy rainfall. One area where we could be seeing a little small hail, they're just to the northwest of Kellyton, about to cross over 280. Hanover has heavy rain, Stewartville, back over toward Weguffka. And that continues all the way back into Chilton County down to the Enterprise community. Just south of Peach Park, heavy rainfall in Chilton County, and then northern Autauga County up there around Billingsley, some heavy rain up there on 82. And that just continues all the way down into southwest Alabama. But as you can see, we have no weather watches or warnings in effect for East Alabama. I'll zoom out. Let's go to Peachtree City. That line is still pretty strong up here coming into northeast Georgia, but the Weather Service not issuing any statements on it, so it's well below severe limits. We do have some special weather statements up here in North Carolina, from Murphy, North Carolina, over to around Franklin, North Carolina. But no special weather statements, no watches, no warnings for Georgia or East Alabama. The only advisories in Alabama at this hour are two special weather statements, and that's going to be for a storm just north of Troy and just to the east of Greenville, down there south of Montgomery. If you're behind this line of storms, you're in the clear. So for those of you over in western Clay County, the severe weather threat has ended. Sylacauga, Childersburg, Talladega, you're all good. Anniston, Oxford, you're good. Leeds, all the way back into Birmingham, you're all good. Clanton, Chilton County, you're good. And if you're to the right of this line or east of it, your severe weather threat continues, but I got to tell you, it's weakening. There's just not much sign of severe weather with this line now, which is all good news. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat room. I am looking at it, and we're just kind of watching this thing together. As it comes through East Alabama this afternoon, no real format here. We're just going to kind of watch it. Of course, if we get any warnings, we'll go back into formal coverage. But until that time, this is kind of a laid-back chit-chat session, looking at the radar and answering your questions. Beth Eldridge, prayers for victims, for tornado victims last night. Asking the question, aren't we in our second tornado season for Dixie Alley? And the answer to that is yes. A little bit north. The places hit last night were a little bit further north than what you would expect for this time of year. And I noticed watching that leftist network last night, trying to find coverage on what was taking place in Kentucky, and I got to say the right-wing national network and the left-wing national network last night, while this tornado was ravishing Kentucky, were both in prepaid programming. I mean, it was just blows my mind that those two networks were not covering the storm. Now, they did at the top of the hour. I think at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 Central, they did give some coverage on what was taking place up there. But one of the meteorologists on one of those networks was talking about this was so rare that this never happens this time of year, and that is absolutely incorrect. It does happen this time of year. The situation in Kentucky was a little bit further north than you would expect for this time of year, but we have two severe weather seasons in the South, and that is in the springtime and in the fall. November and December in Alabama is certainly our secondary severe weather season, and quite honestly, some of the worst tornadoes we've ever seen happened in November and December. October, November, and December. So it can happen anytime, but we are in the height of our secondary severe weather season, which has been relatively quiet this far. Now, if we're up in Kentucky, that was a little bit further north than you would expect this time of year, but certainly not out of the ordinary. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Cecilia. Question, does it look bad for Alexander City? No, not at the moment. I mean, you're going to have some rain, you're going to have some gusty winds, but there's virtually no lightning taking place at this hour, which is, I'm a little bit surprised that we don't have a little more lightning output than we do. But I mean, looking at that frame that's on your screen right now, we've had one lightning strike in the last 2 minutes. And that was up in northwest Georgia. And we do have a few hail markers here. That's a 40% chance of some small hail there just west of Wedowee. 20% chance of small hail in eastern Clay County, and down here in southern Clay, about a 10% chance of some small hail. But nothing severe. Same thing for Bowdoin, Georgia. This line is yet to come through your area, but the line is in a weakening mode as it moves to the east. There was some indication about an hour ago that this line may actually uptick or intensify as it moves east, but so far the weakening trend has continued, and that is good news for East Alabama and West Georgia. Yeah, no storm should be taken lightly. I agree with that 100%. Anytime that there is a threat of severe weather, you need to be weather aware. You need to know how to read a radar. You need to know how to understand where you are on a map. You need to be weather aware. Folks, 90% of the fatalities in severe weather can be avoided if you simply are aware of what's going on around you. Understand what the possibilities are, understand what to look for, know which direction the weather's coming from, know where your safe place is, know what you need to take to that safe place with you. If you just prepare yourself and stay weather aware, weather events are survivable. Almost 90% of them are. So you need to really, really learn a little bit more about weather if you're not already weather savvy. It's well worth your time. I mean, we've all got smartphones, and we all have Google, and you all have Messenger, and all you gotta do is message me and ask me anything you don't understand, and I'll be glad to share it with you. Post it in our chat room right now, and I'll explain it for you. You can learn about it. You just have to make the effort to do so you can keep yourself safe during times of severe weather. Make sure you download the Dr. Don Weather app. It's specifically for East Alabama and West Georgia. We don't send out weather alerts for Birmingham or Atlanta or Columbus or Montgomery. We send out weather alerts for our home core counties across East Alabama and West Georgia. That is by design. You know, people ask me all the time, why don't you take that thing nationwide? Why don't you appeal to more people? You can get more supporters that way. Well, that's not the idea behind what I'm doing. I'm providing weather coverage for an area of East Alabama and West Georgia that has been left behind by the major television markets in Birmingham and Atlanta. And we're going to continue to do that as long as you guys can support us, and we can continue to provide this service for you, and it's tailored specifically for East Alabama and West Georgia. But you got to do your part. You got to understand how all this works and understand so that you can better understand what you need to do during severe weather to protect yourself. Let's go back up here to Randolph and take a look at that little storm there just north of Wedowee. Some pretty good rainfall taking place right there, up there in the Ava community. From just west of Wedowee out there at the 48 Bridge all the way back up to the north side of town, up to around Ava, back over to Woodland and up Highway 48. Back to near Bucktown. Heavy rainfall up there at Graham now. And that stretches on up to just south of Bowdoin. So Highway 48, Highway 100, Highway 48, a mess. From just south of Bowdoin all the way down to Highway 431 in Wedowee, and then really on out 48 all the way back into Clay County. Heavy rain out there around Lake Wedowee at Ophelia. And then back over in Clay County, Lineville, back down towards Shiloh, Cragford, Gibsonville, Highway 49. Heavy rainfall occurring there, back down to Millerville and into northeastern Coosa County, some heavy rain. Small cell down here just to the south of 280. This is going to be down here near Bama Park, just to the northeast of Bama Park. Between Bama Park and Dadeville, right there along Highway 49. That very next volume scan shows it weakening, so that's good. Now let's go down here to this storm. These three storms down here south of Montgomery, southeast of Montgomery now, have been holding together pretty good. You folks down here at Hurtsboro, Alabama, no stranger to severe weather there. That's not severe, but it is a singular storm out by itself. So we're going to keep an eye on that moving forward for Hurtsboro. That storm's about to move in now. It's coming up Highway 51. So, question there, what is the app for Dr. Don's weather? All you got to do is click on that link right there. That's drdonwx.com. That carries you over to our website. And on the home page, upper right-hand side, you'll see two links depending on whether you have a Android or an Apple phone. And you can click on either one of those links depending on which one you need, and you can download the app. Hey, Beth, sorry, I didn't see your comment about climate change up there. Please don't get me on that soapbox. But I agree with you 100%. Yeah, climate's been changing since day one, and it will continue to change. I'm not arguing the fact that man maybe has contributed to it in some shape, form, or fashion, but it's going to change. It has been changing, is changing, and always will change. You can go back and look at the weather records and see for yourself that these storms that we are having in today's world is not something that's just started because of something we're doing while we're riding around in our automobile gas-powered engine. That's just not the case. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and I respect that, but weather's been changing since the beginning of time, and when the last person leaves and cuts the light off, it's going to be changing then too. It's just the way it is. You know, one of the reasons why we have more what appear to be devastating storms and more of a frequency of devastating storms is because of a larger population, more people. There have always been tornadoes, and tornadoes, you know, sometimes can go through rural areas and no one ever knows it. Well, now we got people living everywhere, and we have large concentration of population living everywhere. The more the population grows, and the more we populate the rural areas of this country, the more damage and fatalities we're going to have from tornadoes. It's just the way things work. But if we become better educated and stay weather aware, you can increase your chances of surviving severe weather tenfold. Very windy up here on Potash Ridge. Yeah, it should be. We've got that line of storms about to move into that area. This is Potash Ridge up here on 431, running over to the eastern side of Randolph County. And you see that line of storms is oriented northeast to southwest, just back to your west. So all of that's moving your way. So about to get windy there. It is windy in Wedowee, getting windy in Potash, Roanoke. It's coming in your general direction. Wadley, same for you. It's about to get a little windy. But the good news here again, no severe weather watches or warnings in effect as this line moves through East Alabama and West Georgia this afternoon. Okay, I was just reading the latest from the National Weather Service. They give us an hourly discussion on their thoughts about any ongoing severe weather and what they think is going to happen downstream. And they're talking about how this line of storms is becoming multi-discrete, meaning that the line is not solid anymore. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll just start up here at the top. You'll see that it's a pretty solid line through Dahlonega, and then it breaks up just north of Roswell. There's a little break in the action, then it picks up again, stays together pretty good till it gets to Villa Rica. Then there's another break in the action there, down through Woodland, and then you see these little small breaks in the line all the way down into southwest Alabama. And then we're seeing these individual storms that are forming out ahead of the line. These are discrete cells that are out on their own. They're not having to compete for energy with this main line of storms. So the whole structure of this line is changing a little bit, as the overall synopsis here is a weakening trend. The only thing that the Weather Service is a little bit concerned about is the fact that the line is breaking in places and becoming multi-discrete, and also these individual cells that run out there ahead of it. So they're watching that feature of this storm system. Other than that, we're just not looking at much in the way of severe weather. And I'll go back in on this storm up here around Woodland now. We've got a lightning strike there. And so this storm has intensified just a little bit over the last few minutes or so, and maybe even some small hail there. Near Woodland, or maybe just east of Woodland, north and northwest of Napoleon. This is up in Randolph County. Some pretty good little thunderstorm moving through the Woodland area at this hour. So where's all my Woodland folks? Somebody give me an update on what you're seeing there. All right, so it's raining very hard in Woodland. So I've got one report there. Windy and dark up toward Butler's Mill. That's north of Woodland. Rock Mill's in the house watching. Nick says that in Woodland they've just got a lot of rain. Have not heard any thunder, though. Just had another flash over there in extreme northern Heard County. And we did have that one lightning flash there about 5 minutes ago, just south and east of downtown Woodland. So those are all good reports. We're not seeing anything severe there. We got some good ground truth reports, just heavy rainfall in the Woodland area. So, all right, this line of storms about to hit here at my house. Dr. Don's studio right there. You see this stuff coming at us right here. So I'm going to leave the feed up and take another break and kind of check things around the house here right quick. And then I'll be back with you in just a few moments. I'll leave the radar up where you can see it. And, of course, if anything were to change, I'll be right back immediately. So just leave the feed up, and we'll be back with you with more coverage on Dr. Don's weather. right, good afternoon, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you. It's Saturday, December 11, 2021. We should be talking about snowstorms instead of spring storms. But yeah, it's not that unusual to have severe weather this time of year in the Deep South as well. So that's what we're dealing with. What was it, 4 years ago? Thursday, we had the big snowstorm across East Alabama and West Georgia. And here we are 4 years later dealing with severe weather. But the good news is that, unfortunately, for our friends and neighbors to the northwest, it was a horrific night. And some of the folks up there are describing the tornado that hit up in Kentucky as possibly the worst tornado ever recorded in United States history. Now, that's saying a lot, and we'll have to see how the data comes in and what the National Weather Service does as far as rating that storm and its path, its width. But it's being described by some this morning as quite possibly being the worst single tornado ever recorded in United States history. Which will be amazing if that turns out to be the case. But unfortunately, there were a lot of lives lost last night in Arkansas, Kentucky, and we pray for those folks up there. The good news for East Alabama, or for Alabama and Georgia in general, is that that same line of storms that caused all the destruction up there last night and early this morning has weakened considerably as it moves into East Alabama and across the state of Georgia. Now, I'm up here where this line just came through, up here in extreme southwest White County. Right there, Dr. Don's studio, and you see what just moved overhead. And we recorded a wind gust of about 15 to 20 miles per hour when it moved through here. Very heavy rainfall, but it only lasted for maybe 10 minutes or so, and the rain's already subsiding here on the mountain in southwest White County, northeast Georgia. And, of course, probably up on top of the mountain, the winds were much more intense, maybe up to 40-mile-per-hour wind gust on top of the mountain. But I live on the side of the mountain, and this particular mountain that I live in is kind of a horseshoe, and we live kind of right in that curve of the horseshoe, about halfway up on the mountain. So the left side of the mountain kind of goes back up to the northwest. So when these storms come out of the northwest or out of the west or southwest, we're on the north leeward side of the mountain, so we're kind of protected here at our studio. If we had a storm come at us directly from the north, we'd be in trouble, and that does happen occasionally, but for the most part, we're fairly well protected up here. So, having said that, for those of you up here in northeast Georgia that's watching our coverage this afternoon, if you live away from a mountain range, if you just live maybe over here in south central White County or southeast White County, the wind gusts could be much worse there at your home or place of business. But looking back down the line, showers and thunderstorms about to move into Atlanta Metro, Roswell, Marietta, Kennesaw. These storms are coming at you. We'll be in downtown Atlanta within the hour, packing pretty good punch, but they're below severe limits, which is all good news. Down here in our coverage area of West Georgia, Haralson, down into Carroll, the showers and thunderstorms moving in now, moving across Carrollton, down into southern Carroll County, about to move into Heard County, Randolph County, Alabama. You had some heavy rain there in the Woodland area. Things are getting a little bit better for you. Wedowie's got some heavy rainfall. This is moving right down 431, headed down here to the Wadley, Malone, Allman, Malone, Wadley area, Southern Union there just north of downtown Wadley. Heavy rain about to move in. But again, folks, all of this is below severe limits, so there's nothing happening out there to be alarmed about right now. Not even seeing any lightning strikes in the area. Which is pretty amazing for the amount of heavy rainfall that we have with these storms. We're not seeing any lightning output, which is a good indication that the energy level in the upper levels of the atmosphere just isn't conducive for severe weather this afternoon. Again, a good sign for East Alabama and West Georgia. One of the things we've been concerned about are these discrete cells that are running out ahead of the main line of thunderstorms. You see that one that just crossed over 280 there, just south of Dadeville. It continues to work its way up into western portions of Chambers County, and that's going to come awfully close to the Buffalo area, right there around 431, just north of Lafayette. But again, it's not severe. It is a singular storm, and it bears watching, but it's well below severe limits as it moves on off to the northeast. And then as we zoom out and look at the big picture, we're going to switch back over to the Birmingham radar. Let's go take Birmingham. And there you go. We see that line extends on down to just north of Montgomery, about to move into the Prattville area. Very heavy rainfall there. And it just extends all the way back into southwest Alabama. But again, nothing severe. And then if we zoom way out where you can see West Alabama, we've got rain extending all the way back into east central Mississippi. So it's going to rain for a minute across east Alabama as these storms move through. Now I'm going to take the next rad product off and go back to the composite. This lets us look at the entire southeastern United States. I just wish you would look at this storm system. Can I zoom out far enough? Well, maybe not. Let's do it like that, and I need to go out a little bit further. All right, so the anchoring low pressure system for this storm system is up there around Montreal, up in Canada. And then we have that trailing cold front coming all the way down the eastern United States, down into the southeastern United States, and all the way back over into Mexico. So that kind of gives you an overall perspective of how large a weather system we are talking about here. That is just unbelievable that we have a system of that magnitude, that cold front. I mean, literally from Montreal, Canada, all the way back down into Mexico. We have that line of showers and thunderstorms up there around the cold core low pressure system itself. We have snow blowing up there in Canada and maybe up in some of the main regions up there in the northeastern United States with some mixed precipitation. But for the majority of it, it is showers and thunderstorms stretching all the way back down across the southeastern United States. The only severe weather we have along this line at the moment is going to be in Virginia. And that would be there to the southwest of Lynchburg, near Blacksburg, Virginia. We have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. So you can see that this storm system has calmed down considerably versus what it was last night when it caused all the destruction and deaths up in Kentucky and Arkansas late last night and early this morning. Just a mess up there. So we'll take you back there, and I'm going to go back to the next rad. And we'll hold it right here for a few more moments. I want to get this out of our core counties before we end our coverage. But I got to tell you, some lightning now up here in extreme northwest Heard County. So let's go up there and look at that. Up there around Ephesus. On Highway 100, right there where 100 goes up into Carroll County. We have a little area that could be producing some hail. There's a 60% chance that we have hail there, and only about a 10% chance that hail is severe, which would be 3/4 of an inch or larger. Most likely around a 1/2 inch hail falling there along Highway 100 just north of Ephesus. And so we have that lightning taking place there. Up around Roopville, maybe some small hail occurring there as well. And then to the southeast of Carrollton, between Carrollton and Banning Mills on 27, we could have some hail up there also. Looking back at Randolph County, just heavy rain continues, now down to around Napoleon, Potash. Woodland, you're pretty much okay now. You're on the back side of that main line. Still raining heavily there in Wedowee, and then that stretches down some very heavy rainfall just to the west of 431 there along Broughton Ridge, just to the west of Cornhouse, back over toward Malone and Wadley. Getting in on the action. All this is coming at you, Roanoke. Heavy rain down in southeastern Clay County, northern Tallapoosa down to around New Site, Alexander City, very heavy rainfall right now. And south of Hyssop over in Coosa County, just north of Equality. And we have that one singular cell out here that's about to move right across the Buffalo. It'll move between Buffalo and Pennon in Chambers County. Should stay north of downtown Lafayette. And back to the big picture right there for you. And we'll put that in motion so you can kind of tell which way it's moving. Hello, Ashley. Trudy says the sun's shining in the Springfield community. It won't long. That'll go away pretty quick. Heavy rain in Corinth. Just started raining in the McKenzie, Alabama area. Pretty heavy wind at the Potash Ridge. That's Potash Ridge. It's named that for a reason. It's up on a ridge. That's where the higher elevations of northeast Randolph County start. And from that point all the way north, the elevation's much higher in Randolph County, especially east of 431. And so the wind is typically a little stronger up there than it is down in the southern sections of the county. Time frame for Pennon within the next hour. You've got that one cell, that singular cell that's running out there by itself that's coming through now. I think that will stay a little bit south of Pennon, maybe crossing 431 around Buffalo. And then the main line, probably about 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes before it actually moves through the Pennon area. So if you're in Roanoke, Chambers County, southern Talladega or Tallapoosa County, Lee County, or any of our West Georgia counties, if it's not raining at your house, you got time to get out there and get those Christmas decorations put up. Because I'm telling you, a lot of folks go to Home Depot and they go to Walmart and they buy those blow-up decorations and set them out there in the front yard, which is cool. But they're no match for the wind that's about to come through your area. So get that stuff up. At least unplug them and let them down so that they don't blow away, because they just can't handle the winds that you're fixing to get. And maybe not so much winds associated with the line of thunderstorms, but behind it, our winds are going to turn to the northwest, and it's going to be windy for the rest of the day into tonight. And it's just going to wreak havoc on anything that you've got outside that is not secured. Thank you, Tony Morris. I appreciate your kind words. Let me scroll back up. I had somebody in here from Hampton, Georgia, over by the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you, Sherry, for joining us. I have worked in that area quite a few times at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and I'm very familiar with that area. Right now, you're good. We're going to keep an eye on this as it moves on into Georgia out of Alabama, but for now, we have no severe weather warnings or watches associated with this line of storms. It's just going to be windy and rainy, and if you get what I received up here in North Georgia, it won't last very long either. The wind only lasted for maybe a couple of minutes, and then the rain, 5, 6, 7 minutes, it started subsiding. So not that big a deal at the moment. We'll watch and see if it were to intensify before it gets there. Question about Eastern Virginia. We were just up there looking at it on the radar. That's the only place in the United States that has a severe warning out right now, and it's a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't see anything that would indicate that Eastern Virginia is going to get wiped out. There are no tornado warnings up there. I mean, those severe thunderstorm warnings, those storms could go tornadic, but at this moment, I don't see it, and I don't see a tremendous problem up there. Of course, we'll have to wait and see if that changes. Well, good afternoon, northern Wisconsin. You know, us folks down here in the South love some snow, so and you would probably like to get rid of some of it, so just send it on down here to Alabama and Georgia. We would greatly appreciate it. And thank you for joining us in snowy north woods of Wisconsin. Raining in Wadley. Yeah, Jaden, it probably does look pretty rough back off to your west, but again, it's not severe. That's a pretty good sail coming into southwest Randolph County. Let me take it current. And looking out Highway 22, there around Dickert, pretty good sail there, stretching all the way back toward Wadley. So if you're in Roanoke looking west, it looks ominous. I know it does, because you have the sun over on the western side of the storm, with the sun hitting the tops of the clouds back to the west. That always makes a cloud look worse than it actually is. Then when the storm gets there, it'll get real dark. All of a sudden, it'll start raining. The wind's going to be blowing. And within a couple of 2 or 3, 5 minutes or so, it'll start to get lighter and lighter and lighter, and boom, it's gone. And that's pretty much what we're looking at here. No indication of any wind. Let me switch radar products here. We're taking a look at the velocity product, and I don't see anything of any concern as far as wind in this storm. There's a little bit of rotation down here, maybe around Budston and southwest of Davidston, but that's very broad. That's not what you look for when you're looking for rotation or tornadic activity. And then maybe a little bit around Jackson Gap, around our town. This is all very broad rotation. It's not; those are not tornado signatures at all. And then that singular storm, which is where I would really want to look for the possibility of rotation, I don't see anything at all there. Take you back to the reflectivity. It's already moved through Wedowee, so Wedowee is in the clear. That little line that just came through Wedowee, that was the leading edge of it. So you're on the good side of things now, Wedowee. Well, congratulations, Ashley. You're my 800th subscriber. We appreciate that. And that is over on the YouTube. And we need to get that over 1,000. So, folks, if you typically watch us on Facebook, I'm going to ask you to please go to YouTube and search Dr. Don's Weather and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, that's going to do a couple of things. Number one, that's going to give you redundancy. So not only do you get notified on Facebook when we go live, but you'll also get that push notification from YouTube. So that's kind of a backup plan. And number two, you're increasing our subscription numbers. Once we hit 1,000, that will help us out tremendously. So we're really trying hard to get over there to 1,000. So if you are a regular Dr. Don watcher on Facebook, please go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. You can scroll down below this video. All of our daily videos, our primetime videos, there's a link there that will carry you straight over to YouTube so you can subscribe. And be sure you click that little bell when you subscribe on YouTube so that you get that push notification. Also, if you have a Twitter account, you can search for us on Twitter, or our handle on Twitter is at DSTREN1040. Let me just put that in the chat room here. All right, so at DSTREN 1040 is our Twitter handle. And you can go over there and follow us on Twitter as well. And then, after you do all of that, go to drdonwx.com and make sure that you download the Dr. Don Weather app. On the top of our homepage, right-hand side, you can download it either from the Android store or the Apple store. Download that on your phone. If you own an Apple phone, here's a cool thing. You can search for us on the Apple store. Once you find Dr. Don's Weather, upper right-hand corner, there's a share button. Click that, and then another window will open. You'll see a picture of a little present. You click that and put in the email address of the person you want to give the app to, and guess what? You've just gifted the Dr. Don Weather app, and you can do that for Christmas. It's a great stocking stuffer, and you'll be helping folks stay aware of the weather as well. And then we also ask that you support us if you possibly can, and you can do that also by going to Dr. Don's Weather and click on Donate. And there's the link. I just posted it for you as well. Just click on that link. It's quick, fast, secure. Anything you can do, we certainly do appreciate it. I hear you, Sherry. I'm not a huge Twitter fan. I don't use it nearly as much as I do other social media, but I do post all of my weather information. For those of you that are big tweeters, and there are a lot of them out there, a lot of folks use Twitter that don't use anything else. And I understand that, so we put that out there for you as well. Well, thank you, Wisconsin. We appreciate you subscribing to our YouTube channel. Heck, if you have a severe weather outbreak in Wisconsin, we'll cover it for you. Years ago, when I got into broadcast radio, those of you that have been around Alabama and Georgia for quite some time will remember the great Rhubarb Jones. Rhubarb got his big start in Montgomery, Alabama, at WLWI, I-92 in Montgomery. This was back in the early to mid-'80s. And my first real radio job was also at WLWI in Montgomery. So I got to know Rhubarb very well, along with Jim Fife, and that whole crew at WLWI Montgomery back in the early 80s was just phenomenal. Dr. Sam, Don Day, Rhubarb, Greg Mazingo was on afternoons, and I worked part-time for WLWI. I'd fill in for whoever needed to be out. I produced for Rhubarb when he would go out and do his Where's the Rhubarb afternoon gig, and I got to know him really good. And he used to poke fun at me, even back then in my early years in my career. He would poke fun at me about my weather coverage, and he would always say, it could be raining in Moose Jaw, Alaska, and Strength's going to cover it. He was right about that. Doesn't really matter where it's at. If it's severe and I think I can help save a life, then we're going to cover it. But we primarily look at East Alabama and West Georgia. But we've been known to cover severe weather in other areas around the country as well. You know, Rhubarb was in Montgomery for years. He came to Atlanta and worked for Y106, I believe it was, in Atlanta at that time. Was there for 20-some-odd years. And big media bought the radio station, and management walked in one morning and let the entire crew go for no particular reason. A lot of folks were very, very upset about that in the Atlanta market because Rhubarb was, a lot of folks grew up with him. And that devastated him. He got out of radio, became an instructor at Kennesaw State, and unfortunately died suddenly several years ago. And we certainly miss him. He was a great guy easy to listen to. I moved to Atlanta way back in the late 80s, too, for a short period of time, and he tried to get me to go to work for him part-time in Atlanta. And, of course, that is my first love, obvious, what I'm doing now. But, yeah, you couldn't make money at it back then. You couldn't support your family unless you were part of the chosen few, and I knew if I got back into it, it'd be rough, so I didn't do it. Kind of wish I had now just to be able to work with him. He was a cool dude. But anyway, so we're watching this line of showers and thunderstorms continue to move through East Alabama and into West Georgia now, about to move into Atlanta Metro. I-20, a nasty ride just outside of Atlanta, out there around the Six Flags exit. And this will be encompassing the I-85 corridor in the next hour or so. So I-85 is not going to be a good ride either. And just heavy rainfall for the most part. We're not even seeing much in the way of lightning across the region. I mean, we're looking at Alabama and Georgia, and the biggest lightning we can find now is just west of downtown Atlanta. Up there north of Peachtree City, we've got several lightning strikes now in this storm. That one actually looks like it's intensifying a little bit. Let's go up there and take a look at that. So this is going to be what came through Carrollton just a few moments ago. So it's right now between Roopville and West Atlanta. And we are seeing that around Whitesburg. We see several lightning strikes with this storm, and a 50-50 shot at seeing some hail as that one moves off to the east. If you're behind this line of storms that stretches from Atlanta, Georgia to Montgomery, Alabama, you are in the clear. You enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Now, it's not going to be nice outside. It's going to be cloudy. It's going to be drizzly mist, occasionally some light showers. It's going to increasingly become more and more windy as the day moves along. But the severe threat has ended if you are west of that line from Atlanta to Montgomery. So Wedowee, you're in the clear. Ranburne, you're in the clear. Anniston, Oxford, Delta, Lineville, Ashland, Mellow Valley, Alexander City, Kellyton, Talladega, Sylacauga, Childersburg. All of these areas are now in the clear. You don't have to be concerned about severe weather. Yes, there's more rain out there. That'll move in from the west. And there's even some red returns coming back over there in West Alabama, but that stuff is not severe. Maybe some heavy rainfall from time to time, but nothing severe. Now, if you're along that line I just mentioned and east of the line from Atlanta to Roanoke to Dadeville to Montgomery, then your threat for severe weather will continue until this line passes your location. So the line is moving through the Dadeville area now. It's moving through Roanoke now. And it's moving through Montgomery. So about 15 or 20 minutes, you'll be in the clear. And that's how this is going to work as we go throughout the afternoon. As that line moves east, those of you to the west of the line will be out of the threat of severe weather. Bartow County is out of the threat of severe weather. That's up in northwest Georgia. And we'll go up there and I'll show you that right quick. The line, let's go back to Peachtree City. All right, so the line in Georgia stretches from just east of Clayton up there in Rabun County, pretty much right down 985, maybe just a little bit north of 85, back down to northern Atlanta. And so if you are west and north of that area, if you're north or west of Gainesville, Georgia, you're in the clear. That means White County, most of Habersham County, Towns County, White, Union, Lumpkin, most of Hall County, maybe with the exception of the southeastern corner. All of you guys are in the clear, and from that point west, all the way back to Alabama, you're A-OK. There's rain up here. It's going to rain for a while in Bartow County, up here around Rome, Rockmart, Dalton, Jasper. You're going to have rain for several more hours, but the threat of severe weather is non-existent up here now. That went away when the line came through. So you're good, Bartow County. Hadn't heard anything about Louisville, Kentucky. They did have storms go through there last night, but as one would imagine, Edwardsville, Illinois, and Kentucky. Those are the two places that are gaining most of the attention this morning, with those with the warehouse and the candle factory that got destroyed up there. I hadn't heard anything about Louisville. So if there was damage in Louisville, I don't think it was as significant as some of the other areas. Very dark clouds now at Lake Martin. That's right, because you're right under this line of thunderstorms that's moving through. Here's Kalija. There's 63. That runs up toward our town, Wind Creek State Park. So the storm is moving through as we speak. Give it about 10 or 15 minutes, and Lake Martin, you'll be in the clear. Sharon's asking, what about Gainesville, Georgia? I was just using that as a location marker from Gainesville west. We're all in the clear up here in North Georgia. I live about 20 miles north of Gainesville. And the line has already come through here, so all is clear up in that area. Now, we do have a special weather statement that was just issued. I believe that's going to be for Hall County. But it's going to be for Eastern Hall out there around 985. Yeah, and that is for that portion of the storm along 985 from just north of Gainesville back down to Oakwood, down to Flowery Branch, down to about where 985 and 85 intersect. That's where the heaviest part of the storm is, and that's what the special weather statement is for. And it is in effect until 1:15. That's central. It'd be 2:15 Eastern for winds at about 40 miles per hour. Storms moving east at around 28 miles per hour. So that covers the Lake Lanier area, especially the eastern side of Lake Lanier. And then there's another special weather statement that was just issued. This is going to cover the Alpharetta, Suwanee, Duluth, Roswell area. And this is in effect until 2:15 this afternoon. Storm is moving east at 28 miles per hour again with 40 mile per hour wind gust. And those are the only weather statements pretty much. Well, we've got another one just popped up. This is up here in northeast Georgia. This covers the up in Stevens County now. We're talking about the Toccoa area back over into upstate South Carolina, Walhalla, over toward Clemson, Westminster, Livonia, Lake Hartwell over here in Hartwell, Georgia. And that is a special weather statement going until 2:45 this afternoon. Motion is to the east at 53 miles per hour. For maximum wind gust of up to 50 miles per hour. Again, that covers the towns of Clemson, Toccoa, Seneca, Hartwell, Walhalla, Clarksville, Carnesville, Anderson, South Carolina. If you're in Clarksville, this line is pretty much moved through there. You're in the clear. Even Cornelia's in the clear now. This is going to be just east of there now, moving to the east. That's the same line that just moved through White County. Back into East Alabama. And you folks down here in East Alabama and West Georgia, just bear with me. Occasionally I have to go up to Northeast Georgia. It's taken a little bit, but these folks up here are about to figure out. I can give them some weather coverage. So they jump in here, and I see them in the chat room. So I have to show them a little bit of love when they're in here. But our main focus is down here in East Alabama and West Georgia for sure. Question, is Florence, South Carolina going to get a tornado? I have no idea. This line is weakening as it moves in that direction. Now, if it were to uptick or increase in coverage, that would certainly be a possibility. But right now, it just looks like a weakening line of showers and thunderstorms will move across South Carolina. Late this afternoon during the overnight hours, I will tell you that it will be coming through South Carolina during the overnight hours, and the weather set up there across South Carolina, even North Carolina, is nothing like what we saw in Arkansas and Tennessee and Kentucky last night. So I would not anticipate a major severe weather outbreak in South Carolina or North Carolina. Thank you for the comment about my voice. That's one of the things I try to do is keep everybody calm. And I know a lot of folks have anxiety when it comes to severe weather. And so that's part of what we do. We talk to you and tell you where it's at and try to talk you through it and help you through these times that can get that anxiety going. Jay Sloan says from Oakwood, which is up here where I'm at, that it's moving through quickly, and it is. I mean, that same line moved through southwest White County about 30 minutes ago, and you could hear it coming now. It sounded like a freight train. I mean, not like a tornado freight train, but you could hear the wind. Of course, I live on the side of a mountain with a lot of woods surrounding the house, so you could hear the wind coming through the trees. I knew it was about to hit, and then you could see it coming, and I mean, just a sharp gradient between just a misty rain and like somebody turned on a fire hose. But almost as quick as it started, it ended. So it doesn't last very long at all if it hasn't moved through your area already. Raining down Highway 22 toward Rock Mills. That's back over in East Alabama. Augusta, Georgia, pretty much the same thing. I'm not anticipating anything severe. Of course, we've got a long way to go before it gets to Augusta. Late afternoon, maybe even into the evening hours before the storm system makes it down into Augusta. But there is no indication that we're going to see anything severe over here in Augusta. We're going to keep an eye on it as this storm system moves through central and eastern Georgia, but for now, it's just not severe. Same for southwest Georgia. Same thing for Sumter County. All right, if you're just joining us, we're watching this line of thunderstorms move through Alabama and Georgia. We have been going now. I think the last tornado warning we saw in the state of Alabama was that storm north of Luverne, and that was a couple of 2 or 3 hours ago. We have not seen any severe weather in Alabama or Georgia, for that matter. We do have a couple of special weather statements for that section of the line that's moving just north of Metro. Now coming up on Interstate 85 up there in Banks County, maybe Jackson County, Banks, back over toward Franklin County, and up there around Hart County. But nothing severe. And you see, I don't want to be in Atlanta anytime. Unfortunately, I have to travel through there quite often. But I certainly wouldn't want to be in Atlanta right now. Look at that, would you? Wow. Up there around Sandy Springs on the 285 loop there, North Atlanta. Up there where Highway 400 and 285 intersect. We live on the north end of 400, where 400 ends is basically where I live. And you have to go through this interchange to go anywhere in the world if you're going south. And that place, they're working on it. I think it'll be okay once they finish all the construction. But really, will the construction ever be complete in Atlanta? Probably not. But right now, it is raining. I mean, big time right there at the intersection of 400 and 285. I would not want to be there. I wouldn't want to be on 85 at Spaghetti Junction. The rain's just starting there. Things are looking better up 75. Downtown Atlanta, a mess. I-20 and the connector downtown is a mess. And then back over here on the west side, from I-20 back down 285 on the southwest side of town, heavy rainfall, and that pretty much stretches all the way down 85 down to Whitesburg, down to Central Hatchie, Franklin and Heard County with heavy rain, back into Alabama now in southeast Randolph County, heavy rain in Rock Mills, back up 22, 34 in Georgia. Roanoke, you kind of got caught in a wedge right there. Look at that, would you? Somebody is paying the preacher in Roanoke, Alabama. I mean, not that we have anything severe anywhere, but look what happened when that line got to Roanoke. It just kind of, it parted, and it skipped right. Look just north of Roanoke, right there around Crystal Lake. You have that cell, and watch it just fade away, and then we move the loop forward, and it blows back up on the south side of town and back there on the southwest side of town. So Roanoke really hasn't seen much more. Maybe the western side of town's getting some heavy rain, but downtown Roanoke really didn't get much of anything. Maybe some drizzle. That's interesting. Over here in northeast Chambers County, near Holiday Park, we have a small heavy cell there. Then back over northwest Chambers County, Shiloh, it's raining down around Budston. Dadeville still has some heavy rainfall down to Bama Park. Eclectic out Highway 14 from Tallahassee all the way back to Wetumpka. Heavy rainfall that stretches down 231 all the way down to the northeast side of downtown Montgomery. And let's switch to the Montgomery radar. Take it back in a little closer. Kind of get a good idea of what's going on. And I got to tell you, folks, this line in East Alabama and West Georgia has just basically fallen apart. A little stronger down here around Eclectic, but from Eclectic all the way up to West Atlanta, there's just not much of anything taking place. Now, some areas are going to get some brief heavy rainfall and some gusty winds, but there's just nothing that even remotely looks severe taking place right now. Somebody's asking if I can put in an order for 70-degree weather again. Hang in there. It's going to happen. We will see our temperature crash this afternoon. I'm talking we'll be down into the upper 50s, mid-50s by late this afternoon. And then we'll go into the 30s tonight. And then it's going to be cool tomorrow and Monday. And then the warming trend will start on Tuesday. And I think by Wednesday or Thursday of next week, we'll be knocking on 70 degrees again. And then we'll have to look at the possibility of another storm system in here by next weekend. Shannon asking about our tornadoes in diverse places, and is it normal to get tornadoes in the winter? There seems to be a tornado alley, but tornadoes can happen anywhere. They are more prevalent in certain sections of the country. And in the southeastern United States, that tornado alley from central Mississippi up across West Alabama through northwest Alabama up into central Tennessee is pretty prevalent. But they can happen anywhere, and they can happen at any time. We typically have two different tornado seasons in Alabama and Georgia, or the southeast as a whole, and that would be in the springtime and in the fall. We've had such a temperature swing this year from hot to cold, back to hot, and back to cold, and there's really no indication of that pattern changing anytime soon. And so we've actually had a pretty quiet fall severe weather season, quieter than we should have had because of all the temperature swings that we've had. So no, we have tornadoes in January. We have tornadoes in February. Then of course, spring severe weather season starts in March. It has to do with the temperature outside and the cold fronts that are coming in. And we get up into the 70s and mid 70s in the winter months, and I'm talking November, December, even into January and February. If we get up into the 70s, you know a cold front's coming within 3 or 4 days because that's the pattern. Then you get that cold air clashing with the warm air that's in place. That's when you have trouble. So, yes, to answer your question, there are what's referred to as tornado alleys across the country. In the southeast, it would be from central Mississippi through northwest Alabama up into central Tennessee. Out west, of course, it's Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas. I mean, after all, that's where Wizard of Oz happened, was out in Kansas, remember? So there is several areas around the country that see more tornadoes than others. Hello, Louisiana. Nice to have you with us. Down there in Baton Rouge country, Randy Wilson. Tell Troy Landry we said hello. Yeah, that's right, Kay. Kay is absolutely correct. It is normal in the South for tornadoes anytime a front comes through when we have warmer weather. A cold front comes through when we have warmer weather. Severe weather is always possible with that type setup. And while we typically see more of it in the fall and spring, it can happen any month of the year, and historically has happened in all months of the year. I mean, we've all seen setups where we've had severe weather, including severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, followed by snow flurries. That happens. Gadsden looks good. Gadsden is in the clear. You can stop worrying about severe weather in Gadsden. Your threat has passed. Oh, well, thank you, PA, for watching us. Report of some trees down in Roanoke near Tin Shop. Okay. We did have some gusty wind up there. B-Mac, that's correct. You get the clash of the cold front and the warm air that's already in place. That's when we have severe weather. This particular setup, especially across Arkansas, back over Tennessee and up into Kentucky, we had an incredible low-level jet in place yesterday. Now, that's the wind at different levels of the atmosphere. And we had winds of like 145 miles per hour up in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And when this cold front came in, those winds were veering at a different angle than the cold front was coming in at 145 miles per hour. And that's what set the stage for such a major severe weather outbreak last night across Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky, and spawned well over 24 tornadoes. Death toll, I'm afraid, is going to be well over 100, if not higher. Massive destruction up there. One of the tornadoes stayed on the ground for nearly 200 miles. Just major disaster up there. It is, Joanne. Beaufort, Georgia in the house. Thank you, Mario. North, okay, so you're not in Troy Landry country. You're up on the north end of the state. Sherry's talking about every year around Thanksgiving, there's usually a line of bad weather. I can remember bad weather on Thanksgiving Day. I can remember it more than once. So yes, that is correct. It does happen. I can remember storms on Christmas Day. Now, it doesn't happen as often, but that does happen. So yeah, well, we can have it any time of the year. Well, Joanne, you bring up a great point. Parts of Kentucky look like a Category 3 or a Category 4 hurricane went through Kentucky. That's what it looks like. I mean, just completely wiped off the face of the earth up there. It's just incredible. And that's what it looks like. It looks like hurricane damage. Yes, Ralph, that's pretty much the way it works. Hot air rises and cold air sinks to the ground, so it kind of slips in under the warmth. Then you start to get that rotation, and these storms form. So that's there's a lot more to it than that, but basically, yes, that's how it happens. Yeah, I think when all is said and done, BMAC, we're probably looking at least an F3, probably an F4, and F5 would not surprise me. But the thing that is so impressive is the width. That storm was at least a mile wide at one point, and we just don't see tornadoes like that very often. Thank goodness. Most tornadoes are 100 to 200 yards wide, and they stay on the ground for maybe 5 or 6 minutes. That storm that went through Kentucky last night was at least a mile wide, if not wider at some points. And that thunderstorm cell, the supercell thunderstorm that spawned that tornado, was alive for over 200 miles. And was not producing a tornado on the ground that entire time, but it was the majority of that time. Just incredible stuff. No, Nebraska, I have not seen any reports of any damage out of Nebraska last night. It was all in Arkansas, southern Missouri, southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, northern Arkansas up around Jonesboro, extreme northwest Tennessee, and then we all know what happened in Kentucky. Roanoke and Randolph County, you're good. Storms are out of Randolph County. Randolph County's in the clear. So no more severe weather threat for Randolph County. Heard County, you got a couple of cells there in the southern end of the county and over on the southeastern sections over into Coweta County. As soon as that clears out, Heard County will be in the clear, except for the Camp Hill area down there in extreme, down there where Tallapoosa and Chambers come together, right there along 280. The rest of Tallapoosa County, other than Tallaasee's still under the gun, but northern and north central Tallapoosa County is in the clear. Dadeville, Alexander City, Daviston, New Site, you're good. All of Clay County's in the clear. Talladega County's in the clear. Coosa County's in the clear. Southeastern Elmore County, the line is in your area now, so you got a few more minutes there. Southern Tallapoosa County down around Tallahassee, has still got to deal with the line of storms. And then it's going to move on across central Chambers also. So Lafayette, It's knocking on your door now. Lynette, West Point Valley, Hughley, Langdale, even down into Lee County, Auburn, Opelika, Notasulga, Lochapoka. All of those areas have still got to deal with this line of thunderstorms. Back over into Troup County, knocking on your door. And Harris, you've still got to deal with this line of thunderstorms as well. But I'm telling you, it's breaking up. There's just not that much left of this thing as it moves through. Tallahassee, you hadn't got to the storm just yet. It's on its way, but it's not severe. Well, thank you, Jamie Howard. I appreciate your kind words. Jamie says, I know you're not in our local area, but I like the way that you report. Jamie is in Augusta, Georgia, and says that our weather news here is not that good. I won't say exactly. You can read it. Yeah, well, unfortunately, and that's why I do what I do for East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, I was in Randolph County, Alabama, specifically Roanoke, for 22 years. I was on the radio down there, so that's kind of how I've been able to build this. Folks remember me from back then, and with today's modern technology, we can do amazing things. So that's why I do it, but East Alabama, West Georgia is in no man's land when it comes to weather coverage. I'm not being critical, but the Birmingham television market and the Atlanta television market, from a business standpoint, could care less about East Alabama and West Georgia. I don't know how to put it any more factual than that. Big media is all about the money. It's a business. Radio is about the money. It is a business. It's just the facts. They have employees they have to pay. They have power bill they have to pay. They have equipment. They have their buildings. It's a business. That's how they live. And so their major advertisers want to advertise to the masses. So when you have millions of viewers in Birmingham and tens of millions of viewers out of the Atlanta market, guess what's going to happen when there is a tornado warning for little old Randolph County, Alabama? Those two television markets are going to go back to regular programming. They're not going to cover it. James Spann is a friend of mine. He's in Birmingham. Glenn Burns is fantastic. He's in Atlanta. And either one of those gentlemen would sit down and drink a coffee with any one of you and tell you that beyond a shadow of a doubt, if it was within their power, they would stay live coverage when these storms move through East Alabama and West Georgia, because they love what they do as much as I do, and I know both of them. And I can assure you that they would stay with live coverage if they could. It is beyond their control. They cannot do it. And that's not going to change. Even if the FCC changes and puts Randolph County back in the Birmingham market, it's still not going to change because the numbers are not going to change. The numbers of viewers are not going to change. So I'm just telling you, they've been fighting that battle for years, and it's a moot point. It's not going to change. It's a numbers game. It's a business game. So that's why we're here. We can provide that for you. We can do it with the same tools that Birmingham and Atlanta use. We can stay with you when they can't, just like right now. You show me one radio station or one television station anywhere in Alabama or Georgia. We'll go outside the Birmingham and Atlanta market. Show me one media outlet right now that's doing live wall-to-wall coverage of the weather across East Alabama and West Georgia, and we don't even have a weather watch or warning in place. There's not one. But we can do that as long as you support us, and as long as we have partners who support us, we can continue to do this. And like one of my viewers pointed out a few moments ago, it's not just the fact that we're giving you weather information. We're here for you, with you. We're talking you through it and giving you someone to listen to so that the unknown element is removed from what's going on around you. We're providing you with that information. So that's why we're here, and that's why we do what we do, Jamie. Didn't mean to get off on my soapbox. That's just something I do. But welcome, Augusta, Georgia. We're glad that you're with us. And you folks who over in East Georgia, I mean, that's cool to watch us because what we're dealing with in East Alabama and West Georgia is coming your way 90% of the time. So you can kind of get a feel for what you're going to have to deal with a few hours down the road. BMAC says they just got a ton of snow up in Michigan. And yeah, a lot of my followers would love to have some of that snow down here in Alabama and Georgia, BMAC. So you can send us some. Maybe wait until January. Here's the kind of snow we like to have in the South. We like for it to snow maybe 8 inches or so, like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then be gone by the time we get up the next morning to go to work, so we don't have to deal with it on the roads. That's the perfect snow in the South. I have not looked at the parameters in Ohio to see what your setup is up there. I will say that the further north and east you go along this line, the more energy remains. But last time we looked at it all the way up in Canada, there was just no severe weather occurring anywhere along this line now. So my gut feeling is no, Ohio should be fine. Interesting question. What takes the National Weather Service so long to determine the F value? Well, they have to go out and survey the damage. They have to send a survey team out. They have to look at a lot of different things, how the trees are broken. Are the tops just snapped out? Is the entire tree uprooted? Are the tops twisted out of the trees? Are the trees all laying in the same direction, or are they crisscrossed? What type of structural damage are we looking at? Are we just looking at shingles off of buildings? Are we looking at complete roof removal? Are we looking at cinder block structures that have been completely destroyed? Are we looking at steel beams that have been twisted in different directions? There are hundreds of indicators that the survey team will go out and take a look at to determine the strength of the wind, the direction the wind was coming in, and whether or not it was straight line winds or a tornado. They'll take all of that data and go back and look at the archive of the radar loop when the storm moved through that particular location, and then form their opinion on how strong that tornado or severe thunderstorm was. And they are quite good at doing that nowadays. So so it takes a couple of days, 2 or 3 days to get that done, especially when you have such a large area with destruction as we have right now across Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky. It will take multiple National Weather Service offices multiple days to be able to go out and survey all the damage. And then they'll put a report together and they'll publish it on their National Weather Service website. So whichever National Weather Service office covers the areas that were devastated last night will publish those reports with a track on a map and show you exactly how wide it was at any given location, how strong it was at any given location. They have to survey the entire length of the track. Well, this one thunderstorm was alive for 200 miles. So one could only imagine how many different National Weather Service offices will be involved in that and how long it will take to survey and compile all of that data. It may be a couple of weeks before we actually get a good hard number from the National Weather Service on last night's tornadoes. Plus, there was 24 tornadoes, separate tornadoes. So it's just going to take, and you know, the National Weather Service is funded by the national government, by the federal government. And unfortunately, the National Weather Service is one of the first governmental agencies that get cut. You know, we have to pay for, we have to leave billions of dollars of tanks and Army stuff over in third world countries, and we decide to pull out just billions of dollars we just wasted. And then here in the United States, one of the first things we cut when we run short on money is the National Weather Service. There's another soapbox. Y'all keep getting me off on them. I'm a huge fan of the National Weather Service. Those guys and gals do a phenomenal job. They really, really do. They're underpaid. There's not enough of them. There are not enough weather offices across this country. There are not enough weather radar sites across this country. It's a shame. That is one thing that Trump was trying to fix. And, of course, we have taken several steps backwards now. All right, folks, so we're going to wrap this up. And I'll tell you that if you're in Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Carroll, Hurd, most of Tallapoosa, and Coosa, you're in the clear. The threat of severe weather has ended. If you are in Tallahassee, back up to around Camp Hill to Lafayette, and then over just north of LaGrange, up to around Peachtree City and into southern Atlanta. That's where the line is right now. It continues to move off to the east, northeast. It is not severe, and just as soon as that moves through your area, you will be in the clear as well. For those of you that would like to support Dr. Don's weather, we certainly do appreciate it. We need everything we can get. This is an expensive venture. It does take a lot of time and money to continue this project, and you can support us. I just posted the link right there in the chat room. All you have to do is click on it. It's quick, it's fast, it's secure, and you can be a Dr. Don supporter. And also go to our website and download our weather app so that you get a push notification directly from Dr. Don's weather instead of having to rely on social media. If you or someone you know own a business and would like to become a permanent partner with Dr. Don's weather, send me a message and I'll get you all the information and we can have you started by the time we do our next weather broadcast. So we're going to continue to monitor this throughout the afternoon until this thing gets completely out of Alabama and Georgia, but there is no reason for concern right now. And if things were to change, we'll come right back and continue with our coverage as we watch it this afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. We got well over 1,000 viewers at several points throughout the afternoon, and we didn't even really have severe weather to talk about, so that's pretty phenomenal. I thank you. Thank you to all you folks across the country that joined us for our coverage today. I love to get folks from different parts of the world in here. That's pretty neat stuff. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning with your prime time forecast. And remember, if we were to have severe weather between now and then, I'll be right back with you on Dr. Don's Weather.